A little announcement before we get started. I'd like to introduce our organizing committee, which are supposed to be up in front, and they're kind of wandering around. So first we have Esther Lopez.
Morning, everybody.
Michelle Blakely.
Morning.
Serena Harper. Eric Bischoff. Someone floating around is Art Terrazas. And I'm Ernesto Gamboa. Art's way in the back helping us make the coffee. So welcome again to 1 Million Cups. We'd like to start off with a short video on the Coffee Foundation and 1 Million Cups. Oh, okay. We're having technical difficulties. There is no video on 1 Million Cups. But 1 Million Cups was started by the Coffee Foundation for the purpose of entrepreneurial networking and education. It's an entrepreneurial showcase. Every week we bring in 2 entrepreneurs to tell us their story, their trials, their tribulations, how they got into entrepreneurship, and most importantly, how we as a community can help them. So, after the 6-minute presentation for each entrepreneur, you all get 15 minutes to ask them questions. And that's the real value add of this event. Every entrepreneur that's presented has told us that that's where they get the really valuable feedback. So don't be afraid to get in the weeds with them, challenge them, ask them some tough questions, and then also some suggestions on how we might help them. We'd like to do a shout out to our sponsors, our venue sponsor here at the Hub of Human Innovation. I'd like to take a few minutes to tell you what the Hub is, or a few seconds actually. The Hub is a business and technology incubator. So if you're starting or growing a new business, particularly if you have a new technology, a new product, or a new service, we can help. We're very low price. If you're in the pre-revenue, it's only $100 a month because we're subsidized by the City of El Paso, UTEP, and some other private donors. So please talk to us if you have any interest in that. We can help you here. And then also our coffee sponsor, our last day, unfortunately, Krispy Kreme. So we are looking for a new coffee sponsor. If anybody has any connections with some coffee folks, please let us know. We'd love to do that. Normally we do live stream these events. Unfortunately, Digital Bull, our partner, could not be here today, and Borderland TV. But normally we live stream these events, and we also put them up on YouTube and the 1 Million Cups national internet site. So we are getting hundreds of views for each event, and we're trying to build that up to over 1,000. So please also then check in and follow us both at the Hub and 1 Million Cups. You can download the mobile app for 1 Million Cups, and also we can provide feedback after the fact. So do that, please, and follow. And then lastly, follow the community and join us and tell other people about it. With that, I'm going to bring up our first presenter, iPronetworks.
Anyway, this is Teresa. My name's Linda, and we're with iPronetwork, and we're going to show 2 short clips from iPronetwork. It's a new company. We just started in February of 2017, and show the clips, and then we'll answer any questions.
Veteran inspiration, seen the TV pioneer, original start of the TV show, my experience, teenage program, new ideas, inventions, and innovation, and everything. So many people like to teach me. Obviously, so many new ideas. It's rare that one stands out and captivates my attention. But I'm here to tell you, I think I've come across something that could become one of the most profitable opportunities I've ever been involved in. This is the space of digital currency. What's commonly referred to as cryptocurrency. Let's talk about it. Let's think about this. It's a very hot topic right now, and there's a huge buzz in the marketplace. These are coins, values, these cryptocurrency markets are all over the place. People are winning big time. But this industry has been waiting for a new currency to emerge. One that possesses the capability to transact at lightning speeds. One that has one of the most sophisticated securities available today. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to cryptocurrency. Pro is designed with the everyday consumer and business owner in mind. Cryptocurrency incentivizes all its users with extra rewards and benefits. Now, what if I told you that while you shop at your favorite and most trusted stores online, you can actually be earning cryptocurrency for free? That's right. When have you ever heard being able to receive digital currency for free? Do myself with a vision, and I'm ready to help spread the word about this amazing, innovative currency all over the world. If you'd like to work with me or find out more information about how this can be, please opt in below so we can follow up with you to make sure you don't miss out. Again, this is Kevin Harrington, and I definitely look forward to having you benefit from this exclusive launch. Don't forget to opt in. Bye for now.
And then I just want to say the next one is about the app itself. So it's going to show you how the app works and give you an idea of some of the retail stores that are within the app that are the use of the iPro.
I can do video and edit.
Hi, I'm Kevin.
Okay, so what we're going to be talking about now, my name is Teresa Hopkins, and they want to talk about, our entrepreneurial journey and why we came to where we are. So I'm a mom, I have 2 children, I'm an artist. I moved around my whole life. My dad was in the military, then my husband was in the military. So after college, I thought I was going to stay somewhere, but I found myself moving around all the time every 3 years. Actually, I've lived in El Paso for 7 years. It's the longest place I've ever lived in my whole life. So I stayed here. My children love it here, and they're stable. I don't want to move them in high school like I had to move. So just briefly, how I got into entrepreneurship is, I went to college. I was an art teacher. Again, that was another thing. When you move, it's very hard to get into an art position. I became a personal trainer, working at the gym, running programs, and every time I moved again, you had to start over. So the thing that appealed to me to getting into having my own business, especially something that you can do online and network with, was the fact that I could take it really wherever I could go or move and not have to start over. And so basically that's kind of my entrepreneurial vision, journey. I aligned with iPro because I love what it stands for. I love that it's to help people basically of everybody. It's not something that is like just for asset speculators. So that's why I really like this, and that's my goal, just to help people and show businesses what they can do and try to get their businesses online if they want to extend that. So, through this.
Roll pictures really quick. My name is Linda Chavez, and I'm from El Paso. I went to Burgess High School, and I went to UTEP School of Nursing. I'm an RN. I worked in several hospitals here in El Paso, in pediatric intensive care and neonatal intensive care. And then in '94, I decided to go into, I got my license for home health care here in El Paso, and I started an agency here in El Paso, which I'll never do that again. I did it for 20 years and dealt with all the employment issues. iPro Network, I've been in several businesses like iPro, but I like iPro because it does allow you to have time to do what you want. And I'm also an artist, and I also write courses. And, but we'll go into more detail answering your all's questions about iPro and currency, digital currency at this time, I guess.
And the last slide, you guys can just take a look at. It just shows what all iPro has to offer. You know, even if any of you have any questions for that concerning, you know, because we do have an e-commerce platform. We also have, you know, the currency platform and the education platform. So it all goes together, which is great, and we're like pretty much the first of their kind to do that. So if anybody has questions, we're ready to take.
I have a question. I'm curious. Can your currency be traded peer to peer, or is it through your network?
Yes, it can, because it is traded, so it's like people who have Bitcoin can get iProc or vice versa.
Okay. So using Bitcoin is kind of an intermediary.
Yeah, and the difference between iPro and Bitcoin is that Bitcoin is kind of like, because it's accelerated so quickly, it's kind of getting more now towards like for asset speculators, where our currency is to be used by everybody and for everybody to benefit from it. You know, so if that makes sense. And not only that, it's designed to reward the customer and the retailer.
How do you open an account? How do you start?
How do you start? Well, this is what we're going to do. We are having, we have a sign up, so we're getting anybody that's interested. We are getting their names and numbers, or setting up a time to either meet with you, do a Zoom, you know, if it's easier for people to do that, or to get a presentation. We also have Thomas Dubois. He's out of Aspen, Colorado. He is willing to fly in here for any of those that are interested. We could set up a meeting time, and he is willing to fly in and talk to anybody that's
Would this be an
interested.
ideal application for the marijuana industry?
Is it like that? Or,
Well, I mean, could
well,
it?
we can print out paper applications, okay, or we can do it where we can.
You know, I just came from Denver 2 months ago, and there's a big issue with all cash. So how do they put it into something like this so they can buy it?
Well,
Well, I mean, the way you get in, there's different levels and packages, and you get a certain amount of currency with a certain e-commerce package. Even if you've patented a couple of products and you want to work with Amazon, you can actually send your products to Amazon and go through them through this company. But I don't know about that.
about but you were talking about how you get the currency.
Right.
So.
How do you get the currency into iPro?
Well, what we do is like it converts, so you buy a package that's converted into your currency. Okay, so you have a back office or a tracking. You know, you have an office where you go in and it has everything that, you know, when it goes up. When you purchase something, if you purchase something through your app, you're gonna purchase something, but then you're also gonna get rewards, so that shows that currency added to your currency. So whatever you invest in, you get X amount of currency. So
When I invest into iPro,
well, yes, when you get a package, okay, whatever package you choose to come in as,
how do you pay for that package?
that's with cash, credit card, money
You would
order.
take the $100,000 cash.
Yes.
Right now, since it's a new company, they're using a different way to get in. We have to go through our upline in Aspen. But they will have it set where you can do it online with a credit card, probably pretty soon.
Well, we can, and it's, you know, the way it is like, yeah, like you can get in, and it just depends on if you do a money order or not. So we're getting where you come in, and it's just a process of getting the paperwork done. Yes.
Typical cryptocurrency works that there are only a certain number of shares. We'll call it 100 shares. And as you add new users, those shares get divided out. If I understand right, you're giving cryptocurrency as a reward to consumers for shopping on, you know, regular platforms like Sephora, I saw that kind of thing.
Yes.
So in other words, that's free cryptocurrency.
Yes.
So you're giving those benefits. So my question is, if there are 100 shares in the marketplace, and every time somebody shops on Sephora, now you're giving out parts of that share, further diluting the worth of the marketplace. So how do you offset that?
Well, we are mining the currency, so it's called shacking. So as long as it's being mined, that's how you keep up with it. And that's one thing, like, so Bitcoin's mining, and they call it mining, but it's really shacking. And so what that does is that's producing the currency. So, does that make sense? So like as people go and you give them rewards, the currency is still being produced so that it stays and it can actually, be more useful. So it's just like regular dollars, like when we go to the bank and printing dollars and stuff. So it's being printed, like we're shacking. So that sometimes the ones that have failed is because of that.
Okay.
Is this nationwide now?
Yeah, it's global. Yes.
So, great presentation and the slideshow videos, thank you. So, can you tell us a little bit of iPro and your involvement with iPro? How does, so you're saying are you selling it? And every time you sell, it's basically your own business that you sell, you get a commission, or
Yes.
And then can you tell us
And you
about
just keep,
iPro?
Yeah, we do, and then there's different levels, so it is a little complicated depending on what level you're gonna get in on. So it's, we have to break it down depending on where you're
So
going.
how did you two get in it? If you don't mind me asking? Did you have to invest into buying some iPro?
Right.
And then at that point, so you try to get other people to buy more iPro, and then do you all use your iPro in the marketplace, or what do you do with your iPro?
Okay, well, I bought in a package where you get an e-commerce store, and you get to choose what you want to have in your store. I haven't set it up yet, actually, because it just came in effect about 2 weeks ago, where you could set it up. They had it all set up in the, you'll be able to see it with the website. But there's so many different, well, there's like 5 different levels. You can come in at the Amazon package, an e-commerce package. You can come in at a package where you're going to learn how to do it yourself. But with the e-commerce package, you can go in there and they have the skeleton set up, so you just fill in what store you want to put in. And so it's just, it takes time to explain.
And when you do your iPro, do you have to keep it for a certain period of time? Do you have to spend it there? Can you switch it to regular US dollars? What do you do with yours? Do you have to hold it for a while?
well, it depends on what you want to do. So a lot of people who have invested into Bitcoin like 10 years ago, right? Those that held on to it are pretty happy, right? So they held on to the currency. So you can use the currency and shop with it, okay? So, like for instance, you get an education package, okay? So you also get the education package to show you how to set up your e-commerce, how to use the currency, and how to explain the currency. So you have all that information in the back office. If people come in, it depends on how you choose to build, right? Some people, you get in and you're basically sharing the knowledge to show that you have a currency to help businesses, to help the consumer, and you can also get rewards back and make money as well. Once the currency goes, like, so you have like a holding period, right? Because if they didn't hold it for like 3 months, so some of it will be pending, and you get 20% released after every 3 months. So then after, I think they were saying like 6 months or 10 months, depending on what it is, then you have your currency to use or to cash in. But the reason why they do that is because if people come in and then they pull out really quickly, then that's where, that's where you have issues with the currency going down or imploding, if that makes sense. And that probably answers a little bit of what you were talking about as well. So we have a pending thing where you only get released X amount. You get your full amount, but they do it over a period of 6 to 8 months so that people that opt in don't just quick pull out. Because then what happens is it goes down and then the currency becomes unusable. So you have to kind of secure the platform with those that are coming in. Now some people, after 6 months, if they double their money.
Let's say Xavier invests $100,000 from the marijuana industry, from Denver, right?
Yeah.
What is So at that point, he needs to either, he can hold it, so hoping that it can go up like Bitcoin, like it can become a
Absolutely.
speculating currency. But you don't want this to become a speculating currency.
I'm holding on to mine. We want it to be usable for everybody, so that everybody in every country can use it. And that also allows people who are just actually using the app in the beginning. Okay, say somebody's using the app. They did a whole thing a year in Kenya, kind of like a test.
So cashless society.
Yeah. And so what they're trying to do is allow people who don't have things to be able to have things. Like even whether if it's water, clothing and stuff like that. So those that use the app, that just start using the app, start gaining, rewards and currency, the currency itself.
So once you become a member, you can sell your products on there as well as buy other people's products?
Yes, there's two different platforms. Like if you get into the e-commerce, that's already set up for you. You just get your domain, and then they have products like through Shopify through Shopify or iBuyRight, and then you get your products through that are already there in bulk. So it goes bulk, drop shipping, bulk shipping.
How
all
many
that.
people are selling your products on there now?
Well, that's where the product, the one I was talking about is with the products that are already available. So you can set up a store. They have a list of stores that you can set up yourself.
You know how
Where-
many that is? How many stores are in there now?
No, because
Well,
it just came out about 3 weeks
Yeah,
ago.
but there's like organic, you can do a fitness, you could do all different pet store that does pet supplies
Organic.
through e-commerce. Now for the next step, if you have your own product, then they have another educational package where you set it up and you actually get your own product on your own site, and then it goes out. You get your product globally. So those that have their own product, like people that, I'm just going to say goat milk lotion, or any kind of product that you produce and make yourself, you can set up a store and actually get your product to where it's out globally instead of just, in your backyard. So it allows business owners who have their own products to also set up a store and get your products out to where people can purchase them globally.
So to sell the products, do you need to have any sort of license?
For which products, like your own?
No,
Or-
like what you're doing, do you have to be licensed? No, so it's not like federally regulated?
No, because it's through the e-commerce platform, so it's already in place. And that's the one thing where iPro is different, because everything was in place before we actually launched the currency.
So you bring in people and you make money off of them. Is it multi-level marketing in a way?
Yeah, basically, yes.
Yeah.
You're setting up your network, and then you're helping those do the same thing.
And interesting, because it has to do with money.
Yes.
And
But like
a
it's-
lot of people are expanding their cryptocurrency portfolios. People are going into different ones to see which
Yeah,
one's
which
going
one's
to
good.
pop up, like Bitcoin does.
And the retailers can also get involved too, and if they start accepting the currency, like 20% currency to cash or whatever they get in the platform, and they start getting rewards back in currency. So that's why they're trying to help the consumer and the retailer to benefit. Because it just seems like that's where we're going,
Any other questions? Any other questions? Okay, the final question is always, what can we, as a community, do to help you out?
I just appreciated the time to come up and talk to somebody about it. I know it's kind of scary, and like I said, I don't know if you feel like some of your questions aren't answered the right way. If they aren't, I will do whatever I can to get that answer for you, because that's what we do, whether if I have to go back to somebody above or, get that information for you guys, so.
Great, thank you all. And then we do need a picture, please. Teresa or Admiral Linda? Yeah, just somewhere close to it. Yeah, you gotta hold the mug. Thank you, Nicole. You gotta hold the mug. Otherwise, Papa would be upset with us. All right. Next, we have some time for community announcements, and I'll bring up Serena Harper. She is going to do the announcements.
Good morning.
Thank you.
So first, today, this afternoon at 11:30, the Greater El Paso Chamber of Commerce is having the State of the City with Mayor D. Margo. Also today, this evening, our own Nancy Lowry is presenting at APICS, El Paso Juarez chapter, over on Airway, and it is at, I'm not sure what time it is this evening. It's a dinner meeting, so if you want to look into that, the papers will be all in the back after the announcements, after the meeting. And of course, breakfast with friends every Thursday morning at 8:30 at Carnitos over by the fountains. That's from 8:30 to 10 every Thursday morning. And then on, let's see, where are we? The El Paso CDA, Central Business Association, is hosting El Paso City Manager Tommy Gonzalez, and that is on Wednesday, October 25th at the Doubletree Hotel at noon. So that will be an October luncheon. And then the ECO El Paso Sustainability is having their annual conference on October 25th and 26th. Again, for more information on that, see these flyers in the back. And then on October 25th, also in the evening here at the Hub, 5:30 to 7, we are presenting a free workshop, Making Google Work for You. Stanton Street and Phi Dev are going to be our presenters that evening, so come see us for that. Please register online. The event is free, but we need to have a head count. So if you guys could register online at Eventbrite, there's a link to that on our website. And then there's a meetup group meeting tomorrow at 7 p.m., October investor meeting. So if you're interested in that. And then in New Mexico Watercolor Society on November 12th at 3 p.m. in Cruces is having a special program about legal issues pertaining to the world of art, including artists, galleries, collectors, and museums. And again, that's at 3 p.m. On November 2nd, save the date for Glass Recycling Civic Design Lab. So it's a workshop, Innovative Solutions for Residential Glass Recycling in El Paso, and that is hosted right here at the Hub. And that is Thursday the 2nd from 8 to 11 a.m. Breakfast and registration are from 8 to 8:30. RSVP via Eventbrite, please. And November 29th, the City of El Paso Cooperative Purchasing Expo will be having 2 sessions. If you're interested in that, again, come see. There's a lot of information on that as well. Come see the flyer at the back of the room. And for HUB certification, historically underutilized business, there are some free workshops left on that. The next one is tomorrow morning from 8 to 10 at the Anthony Town Hall in Anthony, Texas. And the Hub, our next seminar in November on the 15th, Action Surge will be hosting a free workshop. If any of you were here a few weeks ago when Steve presented his company, he did a great job, and he will be doing a free presentation for us. So you want to make sure that's, again, 5 to 7, Wednesday, November 15th. And again, it's free, but please register online. Does anybody else have any community announcements they'd like to share?
Anybody looking to hire somebody? Anybody want to share success? Anybody looking to raise some money? Anybody? Anybody? All right. Okay, thank you, Serena. And I apologize, I didn't make the very important parking announcements when we started, but if you are parked in one of the parking lots adjacent to Durango Street, you're going to get towed, so you might want to leave right now and go move them. Also, if you parked in front of the building on the side closest to Durango, that's limited to an hour, so you might want to watch your watch. The City of El Paso will come and leave you a little love note. If you're on the side closest to, I guess, the Paisano curve, then you're fine because that's unlimited. With that, I'll bring up our next presenter, El Paso's SBDC. Joe?
don't even get that kind of warm welcome when I'm at the office. Actually, I'm the director of the Small Business Development Center, and we usually go by the acronym SBDC. How many of you in here have heard of the SBDC? About half, that's not too bad. I had never heard of it when I went to college. I was an entrepreneur myself. My partner and I started an S Corp and 3 LLCs, and we both retired, decided we'd had enough of working ourselves to death. And then all of a sudden we both realized, hey, look, there's more to life than retirement. Let's do something. So I got hired at the SBDC as a business advisor. And I knew he was sitting around without a whole lot to do. And I said, you got to come in here. And I said, with your knowledge and skills, we can help entrepreneurs to be either start their business or those that are currently in business to be much more successful. And again, we use the knowledge we have to help people to be more successful, because we didn't do everything right when we were in business. I don't know, I'm yet to get a business that does everything right. But if we can help people to not make certain mistakes, their sustainability will be much greater. All right. Seems like every year we have cause to celebrate in the SBDC. This past fiscal year for us, which was ending the end of September 2017, we helped start 52 new businesses. We expanded another 37. We created 598 new jobs, and we added $15.5 million to the economy between assisting people to get loans and their own equity investment. So again, our focus is to foster small business success. And I know for many of you that takes many forms. Not every business is the same, but there's enough similarities from business to business that we can normally help everybody one way or the other. And what I mean by that, people come in to see us sometimes and they'll say, you know, I have to get a loan. 70% of the people that come in the door are pre-nascent, have a project idea, and of those, probably 90% are looking for money. Well, we don't have any money in the SBDC. We're grant funded. But we do have connections with all the major commercial bankers in town. So we do work with them. We try to help them get financing, but many of them say, I don't even have a business plan, or they give us something that they say is a business plan, and it's a pretty shoddy excuse for one. They also are not even sure how to complete a personal financial statement. They possibly have credit scores in the low to mid 600s, which they can be very challenging for a lender. So we start working with them and we talk to them about these are your strengths, these are your weaknesses, and let's see what we can do to make you bankable. All right. I'd already asked the question a little bit about how many of you have heard of the SBDC. Surprisingly, a fairly high number here. Anyway, we are the leading economic development network of about 1,000 centers across the United States. And we're recognized for excellence in service to the small business community. The center that I work in just happens to be located at El Paso Community College at the Administrative Service Building. The next closest center to us here is in Las Cruces. Going east, it's at Sol Ross at Alpine. But again, if you go into a community and there's a major university or a college, chances are very good there's an SBDC there to assist entrepreneurs. As I said, our mission is solely to foster small business success. Our core values are integrity, excellence, service, and innovation. Every meeting that I conduct with our staff, I open it up with what we call values in action. And we go around the table and we say, who do we want to recognize, either internally or externally, for something they've done that basically emulate our core values. And it might be recognizing an employee for going above and beyond. might be recognizing somebody outside of the community that has contributed to the success of our center. So we're firm believers that you have to have core values that you live by. It's almost like, you know, the old thing about a business handshake. It used to mean a whole lot. I'm not so sure it's so great today. You know, I think a lot of people get burned by trusting other people, but I still believe a person's word is golden, and you got to practice that. You can't go back on your word. We can't go back on our core values. All right, we are a nonprofit organization. We're funded by the U.S. Small Business Administration. We have a grant from the state of Texas. We get matching funds to our federal grant from El Paso Community College. And for those of you that have been to our center, you'll know we've got fabulous facilities. The college has really taken very good care of us. Within our facility, we all have private offices, so we can work with people one-on-one on business advising and keep it confidential. We have a great training room as part of our facility where we teach QuickBooks, and we hold a number of different workshops and events. So we capitalize on all the good things we have there in order to be able to assist you to do a better job. The best part of it is for our business advising services. A lot of people say, well, it can't be any good if you don't charge for it. And I've heard that many times. That's not true. I mean, I'm not saying we're going to be able to assist to the expectation of everybody that walks in the door. Well, we'll assist them somehow. And if there's something that we can't do for them, we're going to refer them to another agency in town. Maybe they need an accountant, they need legal help. But we're not going to give up on them. We're going to help them. And as I always say, we mentor business owners for life. Some of the very first clients I ever worked with when I started there a little over 8 years ago, they still come back to me. It may only be once a year now, but they come back and they say, hey, would you kind of look at my financials for me? See how I'm doing? Last year it wasn't as good as the year before, and my profitability dropped, but maybe you can shed some light on this as to what went wrong. And it's surprising how many business owners don't understand their own financials. I know when I was in business, that's something I had to learn. I've got a degree in business, but a lot of the stuff they didn't teach you in college. And for me, it was a long time ago, but I don't remember doing detailed analysis of a profit and loss statement and a balance sheet and a cash flow statement and how they talk to one another. And maybe if I'd been a finance major, I would have learned that, but I wasn't. So we spend a lot of time with our clients assisting them with better understanding of their financials, because we don't want them to be one of those statistics that is a business that goes out of business within 1 year, 2 years, or 5 years. And for those of you that are in business, you know how difficult it is. There's always issues you have to deal with. There's always unexpected things that pop up. And we're there to help. And again, no cost. All right, these are some of our service deliveries. When I say some, there are more than this. But as you can see, on this list, probably one of the very first things we do when somebody comes in, and especially if they're going to be applying for a loan, we try to financially assess them. We'll ask them to complete a personal financial statement, bring us a credit report, or we can go ahead with their permission and get a credit report while they're working with us. And then we're going to, again, explain to them, hey, these are your strengths, these are your weaknesses. Now, how much money was it, again, that you think you're going to be looking for? And let them know, hey, you don't have enough collateral to back this up. You don't have a strong enough cash investment to get a banker interested. And unfortunately, most people that are pre-venture that come into our office, they think a business loan is very similar to a consumer loan, like buying a car or even buying a house. And as we all know that have ever gotten commercial loans before, it's a totally different process. We assist with business formation. What I mean by that, they're not attorneys, but we educate on these are the pluses and minuses of a sole proprietorship, a partnership, an LLC, S Corp, C Corp. And we could, if they're willing to do some of the online registration themselves, if it's a one-person LLC, it's a simple process. But if it looks like it's going to be a little bit more complicated, or they don't feel comfortable with it, we're going to refer them out to a professional on it. We do a lot of planning, both internally as well as with our clients. Many times, existing businesses that come to see us are struggling with marketing. So we put a lot of emphasis into getting workshops developed on marketing. This Friday, we conclude a series of 4 workshops on social media. And I know many of you have taken social media workshops before. They can be good and bad. I've had complaints coming from people that are around my age saying, I have no idea what's being talked about. Yet, if we had a 16-year-old kid in the audience, they'd say, oh, I know about that. So there's generational gaps that have to always be addressed to assist people. Also coming up, we've got next week a workshop on commercial leases. And what we intend to do is educate business owners or people that haven't started the business as to, before you sign that commercial lease, you better know what you're signing. We had one of our clients called us 2 weeks ago and said, I really need some help. My air conditioner went out at my business. And I called the landlord, and the landlord said, well, fix it. And she said, what do you mean fix it? Well, read your lease. In the lease, that's your responsibility. And she had no idea. So, again, we've got an attorney coming in, and we've got a real estate expert coming in to offer this workshop next week. So anyway, just to move on quickly, we offer assistance in finance and accounting, business sustainability. We do, like I said, a lot of education, a lot of training. We've got access to free market research. We subscribe to something called IBIS World, and being part of the SBDC, we can get research for our clients at no cost from the University of Texas at San Antonio. That happens to be where our regional office is located, and that's one of the 3 bosses that I report to. We also have 2 experts in the office on international trade. They're both certified international trade professionals. And we do startup and feasibility analysis. Surprising how many times people come in and say, I've got this great idea, this is what I want to do. I'll give you just a real quick example and we'll move on. But I had a woman come to me one time and she said, you know, I want to start a daycare. And I inherited this house from my parents, and it's currently being rented, but I want to convert it into a daycare. So we spent a lot of time doing the research on it in terms of how many children she could put in there, what she had to do for modifications and everything else. And I started pulling a lot of information from her in terms of, how many people you're going to have to hire, how many kids you're going to be able to have there, what you're going to be charging based on the services you're going to be providing, whether it be full-time, part-time, et cetera, et cetera. And when we finished it, and we ran the financials for her, I gave her the profit and loss statement first, for the first year. And I said, well, what do you think of this? And she's going to make $21,000. That would be what her owner's draw would be capable of being. And she looked at me and she says, there is no way. I'm not going to put up with all those screaming little kids. I'm making $60,000 a year right now with benefits. And I said, you were the one that wanted to do this project. So in many ways, I think it's better if we can help people to, not be their own worst enemies in cases like this, then it's very worthwhile for what we're doing. Not everybody is ready to go into business. And in fact, most people aren't ready to go into business. They rush into it as opposed to taking their time, doing their due diligence, doing their research, doing the market analysis, and everything that's required to be successful in business. And even if you do that, as we all know, there's no guarantee you're going to be successful. But at least if you do everything right, you've got a much greater opportunity to be successful than not so. All right, I know this is going to kind of look crazy to you, but for every $1 that is spent operating our centers in our network, and what I mean by our network, we have 10 centers in our network running from El Paso all the way down the Rio Grande Valley to Brownsville, up to Austin, and then forward triangle back. So we have 10 SBDCs in our network. We all report to the University of Texas San Antonio, where the lead center is. For every dollar spent investing in this network, we return to the federal government and the state $15.26. How do we know that number is right? Where did it come from? We use an independent survey taker every year from Mississippi State. It's a doctor, a mathematical doctor that teaches there, that randomly polls our clients to determine how many jobs did you create as a result of SBDC assistance, have your sales gone up and down, et cetera, et cetera. How many, did you lose people? A number of questions that they do. So we are considered revenue neutral in the state budget because we actually give back more than we take. That's hard to say. Very few granting organizations can say that. Okay, that's my presentation about the SBDC, and I have a question over here.
How do you work with this organization? What's the synergy?
Actually, we partner on a number of different things. In January, we're partnering in on the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office event, an all-day event. We'll host it there at the college, but the hub is going to be the ones that are going to be bringing in the speakers and working with us side by side to get this done. We also, I've come down here before. I've never been to this, and I think it's a great idea. But I have met with both, Joe and Nancy on many occasions, because there are certain synergies between what we do at the college and what they do here. We refer clients to the hub. So, for example, we don't have a staff that's really good on innovation. They're experts in that compared to my group. So I would rather counsel somebody, get the information from them that they're looking for, and then say, hey, I want to refer you to Ernesto or to Nancy. They're going to be able to help you with stuff that we're not going to be as proficient in. So that's pretty much how we work with one another. Yes?
Joe, talk a little bit about the longevity of a typical startup here. Do you have any numbers on that or any measurements that you want to use?
We do. We crunch a lot of data, but I have to admit I don't know what the local longevity is. I think probably the city or the county would probably have those records, but I haven't seen anything recently on that. Unfortunately, and I'm going to give you a personal opinion about El Paso. I'm not an El Pasoan, although I've lived here. I've lived here longer than I've lived any place. I've been here for 27 years, but I've moved all over the western United States in corporate jobs and other things. El Paso's over retail. It's a tough market for retail right now. You don't have to drive very far, and it's just one strip center after another. A lot of things look very similar. Nobody's really creating too many niche businesses that draw you into it. And that's why I say it's a really tough market. If you're going to be successful in El Paso, especially in some sort of a retail business, you better have a niche that really separates you from everybody else. And that doesn't necessarily mean, oh, I'm going to provide the best service. Oh, my prices are going to be competitive. I'm yet to hear anybody say they're going to provide bad service or they're going to have competitive prices. So they all everybody says the same thing, but it's very tough to live up to your own standards. Yes.
So, I know you mentioned that you bring in different organizations to help teach some of the workshops. How do you go about that to be able to partner with you guys?
We sometimes we'll search out various individuals that we feel are experts in certain fields. Other times people come to us, which is probably a more common thing, and say, hey, I've got some good expertise in this. Would you consider letting me do a workshop, one of your upcoming workshops? So what normally happens is myself and my training coordinator, her name is Audrey Marufo, we sit and talk with that individual and say, explain to us what you want to do. And maybe if we have or we need more information, we might say, just put together a very, very brief PowerPoint so we can get a better understanding on how it is. And also, we might even ask you to do kind of what I'm doing here today. Is, get up in front of a group of the people in the office and just make a very short presentation. I've had people come to us that are very, very intelligent, but they're not real good in front of the group. And I don't want to put them through an uncomfortable situation. It's not where the audience isn't going to receive them well, and maybe not even understand the message. So we try to do the best we can to get the best fit for the type of audience we know we're going to draw. Yes?
I'm curious, what falls under the scope of a small business? Is it the business entity type, the size of the business, or maybe the market, or all of them?
We go by the SBA standards. We're required to do that. Typical small business is 100 or fewer employees. If you're a manufacturing company, it's 500 or fewer employees. Some companies are judged by annual sales for some industries. So it's pretty rare that we can't help somebody walking in the door. Many companies that have over 100 employees, they don't need our services. They have an HR department, they have this department, they have in-house accountants. So they're not typically going to come to us. So chances are, if the average size company that comes to us, or even the average size startup, is going to be fewer than 10 employees. Yes.
Have you noticed any trends in El Paso as far as small businesses or whatnot?
Well, like I was alluding to a little earlier about El Paso being over retailed, and that's a big concern. I think we're going to see more mom and pop operations closing down because you can look around what's going on in the community. There's more and more big chains coming in, and they're taking business away typically from the mom and pops. Of course, you can't deny what's happening on the internet today. We all shop the internet because it's great value. It's easy, it's great value. So, to me, from a trending standpoint, and El Paso always seems to be about 15 to 20 years behind the times on a lot of stuff. You're gonna see, more and more companies coming in, whether they be chains or entrepreneurs starting businesses where they've seen an idea in some other city or some other country, and they're going to say, I'm going to do this here. But in reality, how many more Mexican restaurants do we have in El Paso? More! I mean, they're great. There's no question about it. They're great, but how many more? One opens up, one's going to close down. And it's really sad. Some of these long-term Mexican restaurants are going. They're just Casa Dorado shut down. So, and on and on and on. And same with other retailers. We were talking about this the other day at work. Charlotte's has decided to hang it up. Nobody has apparently offered to buy them yet. Or if they have, they haven't consummated a deal. Trace Mariposa is the same thing. So a lot of long-time retailers maybe the owners are retiring, but they have not set their business up for long-term sustainability, to be able to sell it, where the owner can walk away and pocket something from the sale of that business.
So do you know how many people are moving into El Paso on a yearly basis? Do you have a number on that?
I've seen numbers on that.
Do you recall what it was?
I'm thinking it was around 8,000 people per year, but again, I'm not totally positive on that. And that's the other issue we've got as a community. We still have a brain drain here. We still have a lot of talented people graduating from UTEP that leave the community because they can't find the type of job that they're qualified to do here. They can't find the type of job that is capable of paying them what they're worth.
It's improving, but it's very slow.
It's slow, and we've got to be able to attract more corporate clientele that recognize El Paso is a great place to live, great place to raise a family, and there is a lot of local talent here. Both of my kids, they left. They went to college elsewhere, and they never came back other than to visit. And they both have extremely terrific jobs. So, and they both told me, I can't come back. There's nothing for me. I can't use my skills here. Yes?
Are there any numbers that show small business growth in El Paso due to Juarez?
There probably are through the Borderplex. Juarez is still an extremely important part to our economy because we've got commerce traveling in both directions. And a lot of the retailers, especially a lot of the malls, rely very heavily on, and maybe not just Juarez, but I'll say the Mexican shopper. Those that are coming in from Chihuahua and even further, parts south. But yeah, I don't have those figures. Yes.
Joe, can I make a real quick point on that? So one thing that when I was in economic development was always very interesting, Simon Properties owns over 300 retail properties, Cielo Vista Mall, Southern Park. From the time Cielo Vista Mall was built in 1971 or 72 until the pace of devaluation of, what was it, 99, 2000, thereabouts, I forget exactly. Cielo Vista Mall was always in the top 10 of sales per square foot. Okay, and that was always attributed probably 30-40% to the Juarez shoppers. And even now, it's still in the top 20. So that's very dramatic if you think about 300 Simon properties all over the U.S. So, but I can also tell you, we know it's significant, but it's always hard to quantify it exactly. And even working with national chains, nationwide chains used to come here, and we used to give them all these figures, and they're like, well, but it doesn't exactly fit our model. So we know it's significant. It's very, very hard to quantify, especially for these nationwide chains. That's why a lot of them don't come here, or wait so long to come here. Sorry.
It's good point. No, it's very good.
Any other questions?
Yes.
How are you different from SCORE? You have a lot of similarities, so.
We're both funded by the SBA. So that's probably the closest similarity. SCORE is made up of volunteers. We're actually paid for what we do, which is kind of nice. There's a lot of good people at SCORE, and in fact I know former SBDC advisors that are SCORE advisors today. I still go to lunch with them occasionally, and we're a much larger organization than SCORE is. We also have a lot more to, we can go usually into greater depth on a project than SCORE does. I mean, SCORE will refer to us people typically that need business plans. SCORE is great at providing experienced mentors to talk through situations to clients. I know the SCORE people very well, but the primary difference is we get paid, they don't get paid. We have access to a lot more tools than they do. Yes?
Do you all offer any kind of workshops to individuals thinking about starting a nonprofit organization?
No. As I mentioned to everybody earlier, we're primarily funded by the U.S. Small Business Administration. They prohibit us from working with nonprofits. So when a nonprofit comes in, I will usually say, hey, we can give you one counseling visit, then I'm going to refer you to SCORE.
But But the hub can work with nonprofits.
There you go.
And we have, and we did.
I'll refer you.
I think we have time for one more question.
The mentor you guys have working with Small Business Development Center, you said they were paid mentor, but how do you guys plan to find an individual? Because it's also, I mean, you spoke to your own experiences, but are there a lot of folks like yourself from a variety of backgrounds?
Variety of backgrounds. Like I told you, I brought my former business partner into the business. He's a degreed, UTEP degreed mechanical engineer. Strong background in manufacturing, just like myself. And one of the ladies in the department has an insurance background. She had her own insurance agency. One of the gentlemen who's got a background, also he's got a master's in international trade, but he actually worked in various public.
But you mentioned there was on innovation that you mentioned earlier during your presentation. That's one of the things you guys put the gap on. Do you guys do anything to try and bring someone who might be able to bridge that? Because my business, I went to you guys' second business we visited, but again, kind of what you spoke to earlier, just we're really quick at the time.
Right.
We're looking for advice on.
Depends on the idea. At UTSA, at our sister office there, they do have a commercial technology center. And they've got 2 or 3 people at that center that are highly skilled in commercial technology and commercialization.
Where is this
at UTSA in San Antonio. They will come out here if need be, if we say, hey, we need help. Like I said earlier, a lot of times I refer people to the hub locally because they're here. We're not taking advantage of it. And I always believe, hey, don't go to just one organization. Go to many organizations. We're all going to have maybe a slightly different perspective on things, and you're going to learn something at each location you go to.
That's what we did. Members of the hub, you guys, members of the Oasis.
And hopefully you pick something up at every location.
Yeah,
sure.
And lastly, Joe, what can we as a community do to help you or help?
So I said we're no cost to our clients. Come see us if either you need business help or you have a business idea that you want to formulate. Likewise, friends that you know that are in business that are maybe too shy to step out and don't know where to go for assistance, have them come see us. We've helped, like I said, we helped over 850, we serviced over 850 clients this year. And again, I appreciate the opportunity to be able to speak here today, as well as the partnership that we have with the Hub and other resource partners in our community.
Photos?
I'm really super sorry. I didn't know if I knew we were going to have that much time for a presentation. I would have played a 10-minute video for you guys and really would have explained things way better than probably I could. I'm up because I would feel terrible if I gave you guys any wrong information since I'm just learning. If anybody's interested, please let us know. We'll text you the video. You can watch it on your own leisure. And there's also a 35-minute presentation that even goes even in more detail, and then we'll get you that. But I just wanted to make sure, because I would feel terrible if I gave you guys any wrong information since I'm just learning myself. But thank you, and I'm sorry about that.
Teresa claimed that she was a little nervous speaking in front of people. I don't believe her, do y'all? All right. Thank you. And they did leave some flyers in the back on the table, so you can grab that so you have the contact information. Lastly, a couple of quick announcements before I let you guys go to network. For next week, we have a special treat, and I'm not saying that just because I'm one of the presenters, but we're doing RIP, Rest in Peace, Dead Companies, you know, kind of the Halloween tie-in, and more importantly, the lessons learned from these companies that weren't quite successful. And then in December we are doing Artisan Month. So if you know any kind of an artist, a tattoo artist, somebody who paints, somebody who does sculpture, anything like that, any kind of an artiste, please let them know to present in December. And lastly, with all those events that we talked about during the announcements, I know it's a lot to digest, but that's why you want to sign up and subscribe to Startup Digest El Paso and send us your announcements. And with that, please come back and visit us, sign up to present. I see some of you future presenters out there in the hall, in the audience, you know who you are. And we'll see you next week. Thank you.